Welcome and thank you for tuning in to us. We are
Yes.
the Imperfect Rainbow. My name is Maddie.
And my name is Jeremy.
Today we have a very special guest.
Today we have a very special guest.
Yes. But before we acknowledge our guest, firstly I want to acknowledge you who is listening to us.
Yes.
Again, your dedication and tuning into our episode means a lot. Whether you are driving or walking the dog or doing your laundry,
Yep.
it means a lot. Thank you for listening.
Yes. And again, I want to remind you to thank yourself today. Thank yourself for taking time off to listen to this. Thank yourself for whatever you're doing, right? Whether you're walking a dog or you're taking a train. Thank yourself for giving this moment of learning, of self-development, of growth for yourself, and taking time for yourself to really learn something today. So I think, thank yourself for doing this.
Yeah, you mean
Yes.
a lot. Because of you tuning in, we are always recording and we are finding new topics. And today we have a new guest.
We have a new guest.
Very excited because I think he just lowered the average age of this room.
Very young, a very new and very young guest, I must add.
So our episode name is called Passion 可以当饭吃吗?
Dun,
with
dun, dun, dun.
Donald.
With Donald, yes. Okay.
Before we get our guest to introduce himself, maybe I will share a little bit about how we have this very young
Yes.
teenager appearing on the same room with us.
How your paths crossed.
Correct.
Because there was a question on my mind. How do you, Maddie, meet somebody who is 20 years old, right?
22 years, my junior, my God.
Exactly. Like how do your paths cross? And then we can start the story from there.
Okay, so
Okay.
Donald and I, we met last Christmas in a family gathering. So it was year end, and then we had this opportunity to visit his house to kind of gather as
Yes.
a Christmas thing.
Christmas gathering, lots of food, lots of
Exactly,
fun.
lots of food, mahjong, lots of old
Oh, I
people,
love
middle-aged people, young children, to very, very young children, like 7 years old.
Okay.
So it was just random because I don't play mahjong. And then Donald is he's the son of the host. So he's happened to be chilling around, and then I have nothing to do. I also don't know how we talk to each other lah, but it just happened that once I started having a conversation with this young man, we couldn't stop talking.
You were captivated by the
I was
conversation.
attracted and captivated by this boy Donald, young man Donald. Like, oh my God, this young man has so much to share.
Lovely.
He has so much wisdom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this auntie 42 years old already then become this version of wisdom. But this man is 20 years old and he's sharing so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then one fine day, I realized that, okay, we need to bring him on this podcast.
And Maddie, can I just add? I'm really glad you took the courage to do that, because one thing I really believe, and again, I've been very involved in diversity and inclusion work,
Yes.
and actually one aspect of diversity and inclusion is really about bridging generational differences,
Yes.
right? Because we talk about
so
Gen X
lovely.
and then millennial, and then the Gen Ys, and then now it's the alphas,
Yeah.
the Gen Zs. So I think a lot of times, a lot of the generations may not communicate very well with each other, and because we have differences, right? We were brought
Yeah.
up differently, we have different values, we have different
Yes.
backgrounds. So I really like how we're able to have like Donald here today, because he's coming from a different generation.
Yes.
And I love it when two generations come together and their different perspectives brought together, and we can then talk about a similar topic that's important to both of us. So I think this is going to be a really special episode.
Yes. So Donald, would you like to give a very casual introduction about yourself?
Okay, first of all, let's give a big hand and welcome Donald to the room. Yay! Welcome.
Always like this MC part.
I
of
know
you.
this was obviously part of me.
Jeremy was a MC, so he's good in this kind of thing. So yes, thankful.
Yes, so welcome.
Donald.
That's right, welcome.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. I'm Donald. So right now I'm a 20-year-old student studying in Temasek Poly in social science and gerontology. And yes, I was invited onto this podcast to give my perspective and on passion basically. And I'm really excited to be here to share with all of y'all.
Love it.
Oh.
And can I just say, I just said it just now, right? I really love the sound of your voice on the mic, right? I mean, come on. Even Paul is agreeing with me. You sound really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a nice resonance to your voice. I like it.
Have you been speaking in different engagements? What do you do as a 20-year-old student in Temasek Poly?
I think for now as a student, because I'm still studying, so a lot of it is based on the work I do. So it's like because I'm doing gerontology, which is more focused on elderly. So I've been doing a lot of volunteering, learning about elderly's needs in Singapore, and how now I'm actually learning more on the policies that actually involve with the elderly that is like trying to help the elderly nowadays. And apart from that, I guess other things I do, like you said, I have like that nice voice. I do a lot of MCs outside also for events also.
That explains it. That explains it. High five. High five.
He's got hours of speaking.
No wonder you see 有经验的 okay.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm the best at it. But I think it's really comes down because I don't do MCs for just one specific event. Like even though I'm studying on elderly, I still like to focus on the whole community lah. So the latest MC event I did was for a children's event in Toa Payoh. So I MC'd for the kids lah, and they really seem to enjoy it because my name is Donald, so like the first thing they come up with is Donald Duck. So they were really excited, and I guess because of that, it also gave me the confidence to continue MCing because I really saw the response from the children, and they were really excited to hear me and just let me like lead their activities and games for them. Just even though like I may not be like the most like best at it, but I still try my best and I think the kids can really see it and they really appreciate it, and I feel very appreciated
Right.
That's most important.
Yeah, I want to encourage you to continue doing this because I started MCing around, I think about 24 when I was in like kind of just in university. So like early 20s as well. I think 22, 23, something like that. So that's when I started. So I just want to say, I'm really happy that you're starting doing this because I'm always welcome like new MCs into the scene. And you've got a great voice, so continue doing it, okay? Please, promise me.
Yeah, I promise. Thank you.
When Donald is speaking, I remember why I'm so captivated by this young man when we first met in Christmas. Because when I'm talking to this boy, usually for any like teen, they'll be like just a student studying, having their own things. But this man has so many things that he's interested in, and he's enjoying his time as a youth.
Exciting.
He's enjoying all his voluntary. He has a lot of passion when he talks about elderly care. So I'm like, this spark that I see from Donald is something very refreshing for me. That was the reason why I couldn't stop talking to him and asking him questions. And he's also a magnet to young children. Because during the Christmas gathering, there were many children, like 7 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old. And then they all love to play with him.
Oh,
he's
that's
the big
nice.
brother. So he has this thing that is
He's
really,
gogo.
Yeah, very, very attractive about him. That's why I interrupt.
Right. Okay, good. So tell us a bit more. How do you mentioned about the course, and what's the name of the course again? I want to get that right.
Social science in gerontology.
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 Yeah. Got it. Okay. So how do you get involved in this in the first
Why do you
place?
choose?
Yeah, because
Is this your choice?
Yeah,
I remember I asked the same question also.
Yeah, I think because social science in gerontology is a very ulu course There's about each year there's only about 50 people max that join, and it's the only course in Singapore that is in this field. So like to get into this course, it's not difficult, but the people that want to get into the course is not many That's why it's quite
so it's
limited.
not in high demand, you mean?
Yeah, it is technically in high demand, but people wanting to do it is another thing.
it's quite niche.
Yeah.
It's quite a niche. Yeah.
Because of all the things people have to do So I don't think but like many youths will rather other options in business, in engineering. I think that's what they will prefer more especially nowadays. And even for someone, because I came from an engineering course also before this. So
okay.
I was studying in IT. I was doing civil and structural engineering. So I was doing engineering, and like the fact that I suddenly switched over from an engineering course all the way to a humanities course is quite a big jump
Yes.
So there you can see that there's a massive difference in terms of it. But the fact that I chose humanities because that's what I feel passionate in, and that's why I want to do it. The engineering course was more of like, how I say, more of like parents' choice, not really parents' choice, but parents' influence
Got
like
it.
there was more influence into like, hey, this course like will have good opportunities, good money making opportunities. So just do it If you like or don't like, just do
Right. Like it was a safe option, right? It was
Yeah,
a safe
yeah.
default option. You can't go wrong with it.
Yep.
But now you've chosen something that you follow your heart and your passion with. Yeah.
What made you took the leap, or what gave you the courage to not listen to your parents' advice and then went for the elderly care module instead? From ITE to Poly.
Yeah, because like when I was studying in ITE, I think like for the most part I can do the work. But when it comes to certain things, right, I realized that this is something like I cannot really do. Like designing, I really cannot do. Like using all the software on the computer to design models of buildings. That is something I realized like I struggle to do lah. And like my classmates can take like for assignment 3 hours, I take like 3 days to complete it. So like it's always been a struggle to me. And even when it comes to interning, I also really did struggle because I found no like reason to every day go to work because like I didn't feel that there's a point and I wasn't doing anything. So it felt very pointless to me. But then when I realized that there was things that I rather do like more human to human interaction. I think that's where I strived at lah. When I actually picked up like volunteering along the way, like it didn't really start like early on, but like maybe later on after like when I realized that I wanted this, I started picking up volunteering, and that's where I realized lah that this was more for me, and I think that it's something I could pursue in.
When did you start volunteering? Tell us a bit about your volunteering journey.
I started volunteering. It was like during my intern, there was a period of time like my friends were like wanting to do some like outside work because like we had to clock in like this VIA hours stuff. So
this is ITE days?
Yeah, this
So
was
what's
ITE,
VIA hours?
like values in action. So you have to like it's I think now secondary schools still do it. It's a thing that each class or each person must clock a certain amount of volunteering hours.
Got it.
In order to like complete, like even now I think uni also has it. There's a specific number of hours you have to do to clear the
community
module.
service.
Yeah, community service hours. So-
Mandatory community service hours. That's great. Okay.
yeah, so like that's what so I went to go and do it and from there like at first like it might like to people I don't know, to some people they think it's very boring or like not interesting, but I felt that because seeing like the smiles on the people's faces really like made me want to do more and not just only think of myself but actually think of others, which is something I've learned lah, that you can't always focus on yourself and others around you do matter also, and if it can bring the smile to their faces, I think it will bring a smile to my face too lah.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's
For
what
sure.
I find most fulfilling about it. Not just because I can help them, but it's also like gives me new experience to interact with new people and actually meet new people and understand from their perspective what they think of certain things, and from there I can learn.
What do you do in your volunteering? What do you choose
There's
to do?
different types. I volunteered with elderly, that's for sure. I've done befriending, door-to-door befriending. I've done assisting of bringing them down from the nursing homes to the play areas to like bring them on learning journeys. All this I've done that. I have volunteered with to even just like play sports with migrant workers in dormitories. I've done that too.
Wow.
And with children also, like bringing kids on learning journeys or just like spending time with them in like those like children's home especially. I've done those to like really just like give the children or like the people around something that I guess they really wanted, and just seeing them so happy at the end of the day really like made my time worth it lah. Even though like I can be very tired, but I think it's really worth it lah.
So it sounds like there was a spectrum of different groups of people that you worked with, right? From children to migrant workers to the elderly. So you have worked with quite a number of different groups of people. So would you say right now that your heart feels most burdened for the elderly? You feel?
And that's why you chose the course in
That's right.
TP?
I think maybe to elderly I have a soft spot lah, because I grew up in a family with most of my family members are much older than me. Like my cousins are like almost their 40s, 30s already, and my uncles, aunties are all in their late 60s already. So to me, interaction with elderly is very common lah.
Yes.
And in the areas that I live in also, there are mostly is elderly. It's an elderly like heavily elderly populated area lah. So that's why I really do interact a lot with elderly. And to me, like sometimes I know it's like they find it hard lah to like interact with elderly because like there's that whole generation gap. But if you really slowly try to like understand and just like try your best to understand, I know it's not easy, but if you really try, and eventually they will open up, and from there you can actually learn a lot from them lah.
Right.
Especially the things they teach. And
I'm very curious. Why does your heart what do you have a soft spot for elderly? Was there any specific situations or incidents that made you kind of realize that it's the soft spot, or how did you realize that this is something that you are you want to fight for, something like that?
It's not really I want to fight for, but more in the sense that because actually at first the course I really wanted was psychology. So actually the all three
understanding human beings.
So I'm open to the whole community lah. I don't specific, but my soft spot for elderly came because of like my multiple interactions with them, especially through my volunteering before I joined the course. So because of that, I really learned a lot from them, and it just opened up to me that hey, there are actually people that are living alone, not being able to receive the proper support, And there's so much we as youths or even just a person can actually do. Like even a small interaction with them can really brighten up their day.
Nice.
So to me, I think that's very important, and that's why I really got a soft spot. And even though I didn't get into the course I wanted, but I still got into something that is vastly related. Plus, it's something that I can pursue on in the future also. So I don't regret it lah. And I am enjoying the work I'm doing now. So yeah.
That sounds deeply meaningful. I mean, for a 20-year-old like yourself to talk about challenges that the elderly are facing and being able to kind of meaningfully reach out to them and kind of work through with them on certain challenges and issues. I think that's powerful, and I think that's very meaningful. So maybe my next question to you is, and you see you have a soft spot, right, for the elderly. What are the key challenges today that they face, that we can learn from and we could do to help them? What do you do to help them overcome the challenges? Yeah.
I think because Singapore is a growing population, aging population. It's one in 2030, 1 in 4 Singaporeans will be above the age of 65. Yeah, if I'm not wrong. So this is a really big issue at the end with the amount of elderly in Singapore.
Yes.
The most common challenges elderly face is definitely their aging of body, which means their mobility will not be the same. They are not able to do certain things that we use or when we're adults we can do.
Right.
So this really limits them to a lot of things, especially when it comes to being independent. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Not saying it's impossible
Physically independent.
Yeah, it's not saying it's impossible to be independent, but the likelihood of a senior being independent is much lower lah.
Yeah,
and
of
they have
course.
to rely on other supports, either from family members, friends, or even the services that are provided by the government in Singapore. So there are all these different kind of things. So in order to really overcome these challenges, I think they need more people in this field. And you just take example a active aging center underneath your block. If you have seen one before, they have at most they take care of, maybe let's say in one area they take care about maybe 10 blocks of seniors. Maybe each block have about, let's say for example, 10 blocks of seniors. Each block has about 10 seniors, so it's about 100 seniors.
Right.
And
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of
That's
seniors.
a lot for
and
one
that's
center. Yeah.
one active aging center only, and the center usually only has about 3 to 4 people. So 3 to 4 people in charge of 100 seniors.
That's a ratio of 1 is to about
Yeah,
25 seniors.
So it's very difficult to juggle, and to make sure that every single senior receive the same treatment is very difficult, especially with the large amount of seniors. And there are also maybe seniors in and the assist with the growing population, there will be more. And without the increase in the amount of social service workers, it's not going to help compensate for the amount of seniors that are going to increase.
For sure. Yeah. It reminds me of our previous episode, Welcome to the 40s, right?
This is beyond 40s already.
This is beyond 40s.
Right.
Because there was an episode that we talked about, aging. Because both of us in our 40s, and we said, welcome to the 40s, and we were trying to see we were trying to tell people how does the 40s look like, right? And then potentially what the 50s and 60s look like. And there was an example of me bringing my mom to Thailand, and I realized, and it's exactly what you said. There's a whole mobility issue, and we're talking about, therefore, if you need to kind of work on your future self and make sure that you have a good retirement and to age well, you need to work on mobility and all that. So this is exactly what you talked about, being able to take care of yourself physically, even when you are there.
Yeah.
But of course, from your point of view, it is about providing the secondary help, right, to them when you're not able to be mobile on their own.
So would you say the challenge in elderly situation in Singapore right now is the potentially lack of people that is supporting this aging population?
Yeah, I think it's the manpower lah.
It's
It's
the
the
manpower.
biggest issue, because this kind of work is everyone will know it's needed, but not everyone is. Maybe not most people are willing to
willing
go
to
into
do.
Yeah. So,
And you're saying that in the course in TP, there's only 50 slots open for applicants, right?
Because there's really not many people there's not enough to even open up another class, because usually one class about 25 people. They can't even open another class because there's not enough people to open up, not enough applicants. This year, my new batch, there's only about 44, if I'm not wrong lah. So it's not even hit the 50, it's just capped at 44.
And perhaps also not everyone opt into this course because this is what you want, right? Maybe I don't know what about the rest of your classmates?
Yeah, I think some of my classmates have other they have some idea of, they come in this course not because of the elderly, maybe to pursue in a different field, but similar in the sense it's in the social sector.
Okay.
Right.
So there are those kind.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
I'm so touched, leh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very amazing that you have a very big heart
Yeah,
at
it's
your
very
age.
hard. Yeah, exactly.
And for some people and let's face it, it may be for some of us it may come naturally. Maybe for you it may come naturally, and because of our environment and your upbringing. For some people it may not be something that they are passionate about, right? So I'm just really glad to hear that you are following your heart in this, and it is something, and you have a big heart for others, for the seniors and for the elderly. And how's that working out for you? Because I remember hearing from Maddie that you were featured in a newspaper article.
Yes.
Right. Tell us a bit more about it.
Yes.
Don't be shy. Okay, this is your time to tell us more about what
We
you're
will
doing.
share the article link in the show notes sometime around
should.
November last year, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us
Because the Straits Times was one of the few times. Okay, I don't want to like make it such a big deal, but I don't think it's a big deal because it's just my face there, and it's not all about me. It's just about the work the schools are doing, and I think that's the most important. How the schools, all the 5 polys are trying to come together to promote this elderly thing, and it's very important. But there are also other times that I think more recently the different times where there was also featured, but more on like more local stuff. Like if you all know on TikTok, there's this channel called We Kepo. Like yes, I'm also on there. Like I have a video on me about me like volunteering as a Silver Generation Ambassador also. There is a video there for it lah.
Okay, we must put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, y'all can go and see it. It's just mainly them interviewing me about certain things and my thoughts of LD. So a lot of information of like what I do and all the things I see in LD is also in that video, and it does like talk a lot about it, because like the video really did like allow me to, I guess also in a sense, kind of reflect about why am I doing all this? Like, am I really doing all this because like I want to do it, or is it because there's like hidden intention? And after doing all that, like if it's still seeing like the same reaction from me every time like I do any like volunteering or like helping out with the people in my area, I think it's still the same. I think I can safely say that is what I want lah, and that's what I think is most important.
Exactly.
Can I say that working with the elderly, serving people is your passion? Will you say that is your passion? If not, then what?
Yeah, I think in some sense just serving people is what I feel that is most important lah, because I've always been taught that like what is most important is not about it's not about yourself lah, it's about how you want to treat others lah, and how you want to can be of service of others. Not saying that you should be taken advantage of, but you should be, there's a level to it lah, that you want to, you know, help others willingly, and not because like you're seeing it for like limelight or like attention, because that is it's a thing lah. Because like, don't get me wrong, even sometimes when like people say they see my thing online and they feel that, hey, like, oh, you're on this and that, and like they make you feel like good, like it does feel good inside, like that, don't get me wrong, it does definitely feel, who doesn't want to be recognized,
of course,
but we have I always try to tell myself like, don't always focus on that. Like, you didn't do all that so that you can get attention and so-called be recognized by people. You do it for yourself and for the greater good of the people you want to help.
Well said.
你看这个年轻人
Well said.
这么 enlightened.
Well said.
I remember when I was chatting with him last year, right? When I'm talking to him, I'm like, oh my god, like, you know, 20-year-old, so enlightened, so wise, and then here I am so late into the game.
Well, never too late. Never too late.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm curious. So you're talking about like, you know, differentiating the focus on wanting to be recognized and you know, really finding joy in whatever you're doing. Is this something? Is this a struggle that your friends, you know? I mean, clearly we know that you have this passion and you know that you're finding deep meaning in whatever you're doing. But how about, you know, your peers of this age? What are the youth hungry for? What are they struggling with today?
I guess something that I can't say for everyone, but because everybody has their own different struggles that they suffer and they face every day and that they want. But when it comes to like knowing what they want, I think maybe if I say for myself, at a young age, it's very difficult to know what you want.
It's difficult, right?
It's difficult to know
I
what
know.
you want.
We've all been there. It's never that easy from the beginning to think about what you really want.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Because it's something that we, as when we're young, we don't really think about it because our minds are very like carefree.
Okay, when you say young, is how old the young person is. You're young.
需要分得那么清楚吗？
Because because now you're 20, you're young, but okay, when you say that when you are young, you don't know what you want, what is that?
I think maybe when it comes to like primary school and secondary school, that time period when like you're still doing major exams, O levels, prep, PSLE, that period of time. Like,
Okay, you're young and my young, very, very different.
要清楚一下嘛。
That's true, that is true. Okay. Go on.
yeah, but at that period of time, I think we're more focused on just doing our academics. We don't really have time to really think of, am I really like this, or do I really like doing this? Do I really like doing that?
Just
We don't
pass the
really-
exams
yeah,
first, right?
just get the
pass the
exams
exams,
first.
get the grades.
Yeah, so that's why we don't have the idea in our heads of what we want to do. And then from there, we won't be like, then when we like suddenly pop the question, oh, what do you want to do? Because in school, in secondary schools, they have this thing called, I think something along the lines of getting ready for careers. So like they'll have this kind of thing, but the thing is that when it comes to that, and they ask you like, oh, what do you want to do? Then like, most of the time you just stun everyone because I'm pretty sure most of us, I can't say all but like most of us will be like confused, like we never really like had that thought in our head.
Yeah, that's very similar experience for us as well. Yeah.
We'll be more focused on like, whether or not we can like clear our math exam or something. We won't be thinking of like, what I want to be in the future.
It is true.
Yeah,
It is true.
So that's why it's a thing that we won't really know lah. Then by the time you want to figure out, then like because like when you're rushing to figure out, right, you tend to like, just because I just need to find something I want to do, then like you think that I like this, but maybe in actual fact you may not be the most like keen in it. Then you rush into it, and then when you realize that like it's not like something that you really truly enjoy, then you like you wasted that time doing it.
So would you say, and it's interesting you brought up this point, right? Because the topic today is passion 可以当饭吃吗?
是
And then we're talking about how, when you are early on in your life and you're thinking about what's your passion and what you want to do in your life, in your career. So do you think that in this aspect, you're a little bit different, and perhaps you're a bit more fortunate because somehow you have found your passion in elderly care and in humanities, in wanting to serve others, and that seems to bring a lot of joy and a lot of meaning. Do you think it's a similar story for your peers or your friends? Like, have they found their passion, you feel, at their age or at a similar age?
I think for mostly the people in my class now, I think a lot of them do know what they want to do lah. They are quite certain. So maybe because they go through certain things and they learn it, because everyone finds their passion in different ways. Like even for myself, I didn't find it like until I was like 17, 18. So like it took me a while to really like realize what I want, and then from there like work on it and how it brings me joy. But for I guess other people, like they have their own ways, and most of them actually, I feel like all of them do know what they want. Whether it be in this field or in another field, they do know what they want and they are working towards it. And that's the best part about it, because even though it may not be this elderly care in like general, but it could be something related, maybe like in psychology or something, because it is related. We do learn psychology in elderly, and because of that, maybe there's the passion in that. They are still working towards it. They don't give it as like, I'm in this field, then I cannot get to my passion. They still can work to it,
Right?
and that's what they are doing. And I think it's very like amazing to see, because they don't like stop at just because I'm not doing what I want to do, then means I cannot do what I want in the future. They still want to work to it.
So imagine if there's a secondary school student who has this talk right in school about career, and then they are trying to in their minds figure out what is their passion. They have no idea what they should do. As now, who as somebody who have been through this journey, what are the kind of advice that you would give this secondary school student?
Or advice
Yeah. Like what would you not really advice like, what would you say to this person who is like, I don't know what I want to do, I have no idea. What would you say to this person?
I think if you really have no idea what you want to do, just be open-minded about it. Don't limit yourself to certain options only, because you never know what you want. And when you're open-minded, you can try out different things. And then when you realize that it doesn't work out for you, you can, like at least don't take it as like a failure, but take it as like a thing that, hey, I know that this isn't working out for me. Maybe I should try something else.
Love it.
Yeah. And the most important thing is to start where you are now lah. Don't wait until it's too late. By the time you take your O-levels, then you realize, I don't even know what I want to do. Like you finish all, then you not enough time to really like understand and work to it.
Yeah.
Is this your approach since secondary school, that you were always trying things, figuring things out, doing different things?
No, not really. I think I just went with the flow. I didn't really like think much about it. I really didn't really think much about my career. So I just see whatever I got, then I just did lah. So.
Yeah, but that's good advice, right? I think when and that's what I really appreciate about youth, the times when we are in our youth, because you have a bit more time on your hands, right? And I think that time could be very well spent to just explore things. I really enjoyed that as a youth, and I think that's just what we're talking about. Explore things and see what interests you, what brings you joy, what you like, what you don't like. And if you don't like, you have time to just drop it and say, I don't like it, and that's fine, right? Because you have the time in youth to do that. But I think the mistake one could make is not trying.
Yeah,
not trying and not willing to
worried about failing.
Exactly,
Like what
about
Donald
failing.
say, it's not about failing. It's about, okay, you realize you don't like it, and you try another thing.
Exactly.
So there's no failing.
And it's no big deal. And it's no big deal at all not to try something and say, yeah, it's not my thing. I've given it a go. Not my thing. Okay, I'm moving on to something else. And I think that is exactly what we want to do in our youth, to be able to try new things, try different things, and then start deciphering like which is the ones that I like and I don't like. And hopefully that kind of like filters things and then brings you closer to wherever your passion or your career or your vision is. Yeah.
And I think the search for passion is not only the something that the youth want, even to our listeners who are probably in the age group of, already in your career, right? Whether you are 30s or 40s, there is nothing stopping you from also trying something out, trying new things, understanding that there's no failure. Just like how schools is teaching the youth to just try things out and figure their ways out. This is like what Jeremy says, never too late. Even at 40, 50, you want to try something new, go and try it.
Exactly.
Right.
So along in a similar line about just kind of like looking for your passion and all that. So personally, like what you said, you can always learn and try things and then start figuring things out. What do you think, like, in society, say like schools or family, how can they better support young individuals like yourself to better explore and follow your passions?
Maybe we split this question into two. So this is more on support. So one question is, how can schools further support youth in finding their passion? Number two is, how can adults/parents support?
Good one. Okay.
Okay.
So start with schools, right?
Start with schools.
So start with schools. So I think for schools, I think they're doing it actually. They're actually implementing more like ECG, which is stand for Career Guidance Counselors, which actually do guide students on what they want in the future.
Right.
They
to
really
kind of like help early plan your career.
It's really like a counselor that sits down with you one-on-one to really discuss what is it you want and what would you look forward to, especially when you're planning for your career. They really have such things, and having like career talks or this, they do have it. Like it can go as back to maybe secondary school. Even I think primary schools now, some of them do have it, which is I think really important because this really helps develop the idea from young, and like it's not too late by the time they realize that I need to start thinking of this, then like they start thinking. They at least have somewhat of an idea before they like it's like not a brand new topic to them.
This is really good, right? Because I only know that in my university days that we had such career talk.
Oh no! Wait a minute. I did that in secondary school before.
Okay,
You did it?
No. Maybe I didn't bother. Secondary school already had.
I don't know how was your experience. Maybe let me know if that sounds similar. I think what we did was, I think all of us had to go through some sort of like a personality test, right? So you fill in a questionnaire or online form. I can't remember what it was. Then you submit the results, obviously on based on whatever you answered. Then they'll come back to you, and then they will arrange like a one-on-one session with every single student.
Wow.
And then they will tell you, okay, so you kind of fall into this category, and because you're in this category, it means that your personality is such and such, and then therefore these are the group of jobs that are kind of like suitable for you or recommended for you. Was it similar for you? Was it something like that? How was it like?
Maybe it's more on like just talks. Like they actually just give like different careers. They talk about different careers lah, and then from there students kind of see where they're interested in. But I think nowadays with this new thing, I don't think it's new, but it's been going on for quite a while. This My Skills Future is being used. It is being used for students.
Skills Future.
Yes,
even for students.
Students do
That's
use
new
it.
to me.
It's a thing that I think teachers will get students to do, especially like that's like even for now like IT or like poly, they have like specific modules just for your career readiness, to how ready you are for your career. So like they'll get them to do like you said, personality tests. They have like the personality test in the Skills Future. Then from there they kind of see like, which area do they best fit in, and then from there they can really go and find out more about the careers open in that field.
Well, I'm really grateful that for the schools in Singapore supporting this youth and young people in education, finding their career, finding their passion, right?
I'm glad that it's getting obviously more mature, right? In terms of like the stage, in terms of how they're engaging students and their career options early on.
Very thankful.
Yeah, but I do also want to say like it's not. I also feel it's not not definitive. Just like, I mean, look at Maddie and myself, right? Like when we started out in our first job, I don't think we ever thought that the first job would be the last job, right? Or the first job in whatever company or whatever industry is going to end up in like your final career. So I think it's also a journey to also kind of experience what we want to do. But yeah, I'm glad that they're doing it in school, just to see where you can start or potentially, do something that you like.
So would you say that schools are already doing very well in this area to support youth in finding their passion?
Yeah, that's for sure lah. I think they are doing their best at it. They need to like spark that passion in young youth nowadays.
Then what about family support? How would you say?
That's the part,
this
that's the
is
part
an
two of the
open
question,
and
right?
safe space because many listeners or to our podcast are parents of young children and maybe children in secondary school.
true.
I'm very certain that they want to know whether whatever that they're doing is really supporting their children in this finding their passion or not. What would you say?
I think because there's a different, you can definitely see a difference lah. Let's say from like maybe your parents to like my parents, the way they support or bring up children is very different nowadays. Because there's with a lot of new things and people with technology and everything, people learn and they adapt to how is the best way to bring up their children. But there is no like definite best way to bring up their children. But I think what most important like children or youth, especially nowadays, need is just the support lah. Don't like, because you never know what your child or your youth might be feeling inside, because sometimes they keep it to themselves and they are not like open enough to share, which is very common now, because people nowadays, we don't really like talk about feelings or anything much because we are too busy focused on doing things like to like succeed. We're just looking forward, we're not really like looking out for ourselves, which I think is the most important nowadays. Like we need to sometimes take a step back and realize that hey, we also like, we ourselves matter. Don't like neglect yourself because of something you're trying to work towards too. So yeah, so I think maybe for parents, like I'm not a parent, so like I can't say much, but
it's okay. You can share from the eyes of a teen.
like I mean, if let's say if I was if one day I somehow become a parent, then like I think for me I'll be more open with my kid. I think I will allow my child to really just do what they want. Like I definitely will have certain like more like I guess mottos or things that I feel that very strongly for, and like I'll make sure that my child is like that, like basically doing like not doing the wrong things, all these kind of things.
What would be those mottos that you say that that you hold?
I think
up?
one is definitely like family lah. Family is very important lah. Especially like no matter like who you want to interact with, it's perfectly fine, but don't ever like neglect your family. I think that's one that I think it's passed down lah from my parents to me. So like for me, I will also like make sure not really, I don't think make sure, but like try my best to let my child know that this is also very important. So like don't ever like choose, even especially if it's a very important situation, don't choose like, try not to choose your friends over your family lah. Your family still should be number one to you lah. So I think that's very important.
Wow.
Yeah.
Such wise words from a
Yeah.
20-year-old.
Yeah. What else? If you're a parent, what else will you do?
I guess also in a sense like support in any way possible. Like whatever that my child decides to do, I feel that no matter be what, whether be a scientist, engineer, a mechanic, anything lah, even
Or a dancer.
as long as my child or who like has really shows the drive for it and really wants it, I think that's what's most important lah. And I would not like say things, because sometimes we do say certain things that will to us we just feel like it's just a small thing, but to the person it could be quite discouraging.
For example, could you give an example?
Maybe for example, it's like when I did those YouTube videos, like my parents thought it was when they said certain remarks lah, they thought it was just a small thing, but to me it's quite a big thing, and that's why I stopped it entirely. So I don't think I would have stopped it if they never said it lah. So
Would you be able to say what was being said that made you just decide to stop the channel?
I don't really remember much, but I knew it was just something along the line of like, why you keep doing it when like it's getting nowhere or something like that. So I just let it be lah. So these kind of things does affect people, and I think I'll be more mindful with my word choice lah. It's very important.
Mindful word choice.
Yeah.
So important.
And I think that comment would have hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, even for me, and if I can imagine if I'm in the shoes, and I think it would have affected me. Yeah, and I think there was this. You're exactly right. I think words. Sometimes we think that words don't hurt us that much or don't matter that much, but I think words can can leave a huge impact in our lives. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing in summary for these two things that parents can support is to let your child explore whatever they want to explore if they have the interest for it. Support their journey, right? Number two is be very mindful of the choice of your words.
Yeah.
Did I summarize it right?
And just as long as they don't do the wrong things can already lah. Like as long as they don't do the things that they're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like common sense to us, like certain things we don't want our child to be
Right.
involved or like doing, then I
Right.
think after that it should be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So as long as they're not doing something that's wrong, whatever,
Illegal or something
illegal,
like then I
you
think
know?
that's most important.
They just support them as much as they can. Yeah. And I think that's the role of parents. You know, I'm not a parent, but if I think back on my parents supporting me, a lot of times I think they give me a lot of free will to just do what I want to do. And I think I'm very thankful for that, you know, and whether it's emceeing we talked about, whether it's anything really, they never really had much of a comment in that sense, as long as I was like trying to deliver my grades, as long as I was doing, things that kind of right, I think it was okay. But you're right, I think supportive parents is really important. And sometimes just even verbally showing that you're supportive is really, really important as well. So yeah, I
feel like your parents listen to this to be so swelling with pride. I can imagine if I am a parent listening, if I'm your mother or your dad listening to this, but like, wow, you know, my child is so wise.
And sounding really good on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, my parents, I guess maybe at the start they weren't like the biggest fan of me doing this, but I think now more like, especially after the things I've done, from the achievements I've done, especially in this field, they could really see that this is what I want, and they've started to support. They've shown the support, and I'm very grateful for it lah.
So to somebody who is, let's say, trying new things, to a youth, right, to a young man like a woman like you who's trying something out, and they're probably struggling with getting support from their family, what would you say to him or her?
I think it's definitely tough not getting the support especially from your family, because they're like, if usually family is the closest point of contact, and if you're really not getting that support, then not saying that you cannot have any other support lah, but like you should try your best to find other forms of support, maybe from friends. If not, you have to really like 依赖自己. Like you just have to base it off of yourself. Like
you're all alone in that journey, in that battle. Oh.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, when you do produce the results, people will see one lah, and I think that's where people start realizing, like this is actually something, and then they will they will want to support lah. But to be frank, there are definitely, anything you do, there will be people supporting you lah. Even when you feel like you're all alone or like you're no one there with you, there will be people supporting. It's just that you don't know it.
Wow.
They don't like outright tell it to you. Like there are some people that are like, there are people like that lah. They don't outright show that they care or support, but deep down they really do wish all the best for you as an individual lah. And that's what I think we tend to neglect. Like we always think of, nobody's supporting me, but then we tend to neglect the people that have always been there for us. I think that's a common thing.
Yeah, and what I also hear from you is, like be consistent in what you're doing and really work hard to prove yourself. And then when you're able to do that and kind of, deliver whether it's early results or, it's kind of like small improvements or small wins, and that's when you can start building confidence in others to support you even further, especially in their parents.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So today we mentioned whether passion 可以当饭吃吗? What would you say to this? Even though I know
answer to this question.
You're not you're not working full time. You're a full time student. You are volunteering. You have things on the side.
Yeah.
But what would you say to this?
I think definitely can. It's definitely very much possible. Like even though it just depends on how hard you want to work for it. Maybe certain passions will not like end up with like the best money making or best opportunity to have a good life, but sometimes to certain people, as long as 可以活着就好了. It's like they don't need anything luxurious, no need any of those like fancy stuff. As long as they're able to live comfortably. Like living comfortably is like different extent for everyone. Some people living comfortably is staying in like a big house, luxurious food, but some people could be just staying in a house that's enough for them, just enough for them, and eating the simple things that they need every day without like needing those fancy foods or designer accessories or this. I think with that, I think it's very much possible with passion if you're really going to work to it. And from there, you can always go up. Like you don't, like think of it like going down. You definitely go up as you go. And even though you may start at the bottom, it's okay because if you start at the bottom, the only way you can go is up. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you start at the bottom, the only way you can go is up.
That's true. Very quote-worthy.
Yeah, quote-worthy.
Yeah. And I want to say that this this one saying comes to mind. Like there's no shame to honest hard work. Yeah, there's no shame in honest hard work. And you're right. Everybody has different standards of living and different expectations in life, and there's no shame in just wanting to have a good, hardworking or like honest life, and that's it, right? And it doesn't matter that you have more to show or have less to show. I think it all boils down to what you want in life, and then you work hard for it. And that's it, right? And there's no need to compare, like, do I need the same designer clothes that you have? Do I need to be able to eat the same kind of like expensive meals that you have? I think those are not the real measures of success. I think like what you said, the real measure of success is what you really want, and then you go for it.
And I have a definition of what passion is. We are studying this a bit late, the definition, but
Sure,
over
no
here
problem.
I found passion. The definition of passion is strong and intense emotion or enthusiasm for something. It's a driving force that motivates and excites individuals to pursue their interests, goals, or activities with dedication and zeal. And I found another definition is something that you cannot stop thinking about it.
Right.
It's just this thing that's inside of you that you want to do it. This is what we talk about, that driving inner desire.
Totally. Yeah. So talk about that, and then probably this is a good time for us to kind of wrap things up a little bit. We always talk about we always end our episodes with like a quote, right? So let's see if you have got a quote that you're prepared for today,
or a message, or a motto, or a mantra on this topic about passion.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah.
I think I don't really have like a quote, but I think it's just like a small message for anyone that has like something in mind. You're going to get there lah. Don't give up now.
Wow. You're gonna get there.
Don't give up now.
Yeah.
Don't give up now.
We may think that like the journey is long, but after you've been through the whole journey and then you look back, you realize, wow, how far you've been now. And if nobody was there to give you that reassurance that you're doing well, let this be the reassurance to you that you're getting there lah. I believe in it, and every single one of the people that are going through certain things, I believe that you'll get there lah.
Unbelievable. I'm getting goosebumps from this.
Yeah. 20-year-old. Oh my god.
Yeah, so never despise the power of youth.
Yes.
And I think that is so much wisdom in that little message. That you're right. Sometimes it's just about acknowledging what you've gone through, where you have come, and don't give up and just keep going. Small, tiny steps at a time, but you'll get there. You'll get there.
And in the words of Donald, he believes in you. He can be the reassurance in whatever struggles that you're facing.
Yeah.
Yeah, let our guests, Donald and myself, and Jeremy, tell you that we believe in whatever they're trying to do.
Yes, and we believe in you out there doing whatever you're doing today.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Thank you so much, Donald.
Thanks for your time, Donald.
For your wisdom.
I've learned a lot from you today, so I really appreciate this time. I feel reassured as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Maddie.
My name is Jeremy.
We are the
Imperfect Rainbow.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Donald, once again. Let's give a big hand to Donald. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we'll see you next episode. Bye bye.